Hey everybody, Amy here, being lazy along with Rue and Meep over there. I owe you an answer to this week's Trivia Tuesday question. I've been down with a cold all week, which has been a bummer. But anyway, I do have an answer for you. The question was, who became King of Sweden despite having the words "Death to Kings" tattooed on him? And the answer is Bernadotte, who upon attaining the throne became known as Charles the 14th John of Sweden. It's a weird story. So he was one of Napoleon's top generals, a marshal of France, and the Swedish king was childless, and they were looking around for an heir to the throne, and they wanted somebody close to Napoleon because Napoleon was the dominant power in Europe at the time, and they wanted his help to conquer Finland, basically, and be able to stand up against Russia, who owned Finland at the time. And so, they were debating different people. Several of Napoleon's family members refused, partly because they were unwilling to convert to Lutheranism, which was a requirement. And then apparently just some random guy in their legislature offered the role to Bernadotte, without any authorization. In fact, the guy, when he came back from being the author, was arrested for a while. But in the end, people came around to it. The Swedish army liked the idea of a soldier on the throne, and Bernadotte had a good reputation for money had managed parts of Northern Europe and other places that had been conquered by Napoleon. The irony of it is that him and Napoleon really didn't get along that well. Napoleon was pretty angry at him for not being where he was supposed to be in certain battles. The merits are debatable. And then the real irony is that once he took over, he ended up declaring war on Napoleon. To be fair, Napoleon kind of started it by seizing part of Pomerania in what's now northern Germany, but was part of Sweden, on kind of trumped up reasons. He wanted it just to secure his flank while he was invading Russia, which was also a terrible idea. And so, after all of that, Sweden ends up declaring war on Napoleon, his former boss, and indeed ends up being the bridge to unite Russia and Britain into joining in the final coalition that finally drove Napoleon out of power, and then off to Elba, and then briefly back to power, and then permanently out of power. Current king of Sweden is one of his descendants. The House of Bernadotte still rules, nominally in Sweden. And the history of the Swedish monarchy is really surprisingly full of interest.